Alright, how's it going, ladies and ladettes? I know it's been a while since our last Killer vs Killer video, but let me tell you, Trickster and Plague are an absolute pain in my ass. Literally nobody plays these two, so it took me forever to get the gameplay off them. That, and I don't have all day to just play DBD, so it's not like I can sift through heaps of games until I get them. But anyway, here we are now, so no need more for worries, and enjoy the Plague vs Trickster battle. Starting off our sickly contender Plague, she has a movement speed of 4.6 meters per second, is considered tall, and has a terror radius of 32 meters. Her power consists of Vile Purge. What Vile Purge does is allow the Plague to unleash a stream of infectious bile, which upon contact with a survivor will cause the inflictee to become infected, where they then have a few options to consider. If the Plague is only hit them with a short amount of vomit, they will slowly start to become sicker until they are fully sick and get the broken stats applied to them. From here on out, their only way of healing is to cleanse a pool of devotion to rid themselves of their sickness. If a survivor cleanses, the Plague will be notified and will be able to consume that sickness to cleanse yourself of, the vomit becoming corrupt and allowing the Plague to next time she unleashes a Vile Purge to actually inflict damage on her opponent, rather than applying sickness. This is really strong once the Plague gets to stay on her hands and should be avoided at all costs. Although she does only have a 60-second period to use this, so she has to manage it well. Under the right circumstances, this is probably one of the best powers in the whole game, so I'll be giving her a 7 out of 10 for stats. Yes, I did just say she's possibly one of the best powers in the whole game, but that's only under the right circumstances, and isn't always. For Plague's strength, I feel inclined to give her a high-ending score because of her large size, although I'm not too sure if she's 100% deserving of it. The only thing keeping me from giving her a high-end score is her physical well-being. I'm just assuming from all the sickness she's enduring would make her somewhat weak, even though she seems to be immune to it. So because of the conflictions, I'll be giving her a flat base score of 5 out of 10 for strength. Plague's agility is also interesting, as it's a little hard to determine. She has a very good posture and skinny build, which is great for athletic task, although we have the same problem we had with strength, her sickness. There's no way it isn't affecting her, at least slightly, so I can't give her anything too high, although it would be higher than strength because she has more physical attributes supporting good agility than strength. So 6 out of 10. And our final category for our Vomit Queen is her lore. From a young age, the Plague was devoted to her gods. Once of age, she got a glimpse of the gods in the appearance of black fog. This made her become even more devoted to gods and full of hope for her people, aiding the high priest in their purification rituals. It didn't take long for the priests themselves to succumb to the deadly plague that contaminated her people, and she quickly became the new priestess among her land as she continued performing the rituals herself. Eventually, inevitably, the Plague herself caught the plague. Kind of ironic, isn't it? Causing worry for her people. In a desperate attempt to appease the gods, she banished herself from the city, taking a few followers with her. Knowing the fate that awaited them ahead, she knelt down and did one last prayer to her fellow followers. The Plague nor her followers' bodies were ever discovered. Holy shit, that is definitely one gut-punching story that fills you with all kinds of emotions, but guess what, sadly, which you all know from watching my previous videos on Killer vs Killer, I do not care about good stories, I care about good killers, which sadly the Plague is not. She's a devoted follower and kind of a leader, who would do anything to please her gods with the thought of her people in mind. So I won't be giving her too low though, because it does depict the Plague as someone who would do anything to please the gods, meaning she would likely have killed in her services to try and appease them, so overall I'll be giving her a 4 out of 10. Now that we have finished with Dear Plague, we can move on to K-pop star enthusiast Trickster. Trickster with a 4.4 movement speed is considered average height and has a terror radius of 24 meters. His power consists of Showstopper. What this allows a Trickster to do is possess 60 blades, which he can throw, and the more he starts to throw them, the more control he gains over them, and increases his throw rate over time. The only thing to look out for, however, is that he starts to slow in movement speed the more knives that he starts to throw. This isn't his only ability, however. Trickster being able to enter main event. For every blade hit, Trickster's main event meter fills. Once he fills it completely, he can activate the ability, gaining the power to throw unlimited knives at a significantly higher throw rate. The only downside is his base movement speed decreases to 3.86 meters per second. On paper, this sounds like a very good ability, although in practicality, it is dog shit. And yes, that's the nicest way I can put it. Having any kind of high debris at your disposal will cause the Trickster's power to become completely obsolete and force him to use his normal weapon if he wants to hit you. So overall, I'll be giving him a 2 out of 10 for stats. Trickster's strength I would consider to be quite good, as he is physically well built, has a visible 6-pack, and just, flexes it throughout the entirety of the match, having no shirt on, for all to see. Only coming second the main man, David King, obviously, he's number 1. But he doesn't really seem to have any limitations placed upon him, although I won't be giving him anything too high because he's quite small in size, so 7 out of 10. for strength. For agility, I actually feel like he doesn't have a very good agility, which doesn't make sense because I just said he was very good shape not long ago, but hear me out. He has a slow-ass movement speed for no reason, and becomes even slower when throwing his knives, which I know I said I'm not going to include in the killer's power when considering their strength and agility, but I thought it would be good to just mention at least. Obviously he doesn't have terrible agility, but I don't believe it to be any better than a 5 out of 10, so that's what I'll be giving him. Now, our final category for Trickster in his fight between himself and the plague is his lore. Trickster was always destined to be in the spotlight. At his family's restaurant, he performed knife tricks to tourists who came by, which sparked his father to get his son singing and dancing lessons. This quickly led to Trickster joining a boy band called No Spin, where he would find good success with his band members, although there was something missing for the Trickster. He didn't like how the fame was split amongst his 5 other band members. As luck would have it for Trickster, he smelt the burnt of crisp wires and stumbled upon his bandmates trapped in a recording studio with a flame arising with them. He quickly went to help them out, but then stopped himself. Smiling to himself, he knew this was destiny, and left his bandmates to burn. Being reborn as a Trickster by his manager Yunjin, he sought the fame he desired, but he then found there was still something missing with his music, deciding to experiment on torturing people and using their screams in his music. Fame didn't last long for Trickster, however. His last few albums tanking. Being threatened by his producers of stopping work for the Trickster, he set up an elaborate plan, trapping all the producers and his manager in a room where he would perform one last show to them, killing every single one of Glee except his trusty manager, but being taken by the fog at the last second. Now that's how you write a good killer. He's everything you want: sadistic, psychopath, and he kills people. Although the only criticism is that he captures helpless fans, so it's not like they were very errant kills, but still, he gets a solid 8 out of 10 for lore. So, now we can tally our scores and find out who our victor is for the match of Plague vs Trickster. Now, I started writing the script with a killer clear in mind of winning, but I was surprised by these results. Plague coming to a total score of 22 out of 40, and Trickster also coming to a total score of 22 out of 40. Oh my god. So, I don't really know how to decide what happens here, but I really thought Plague was coming out on top easily, but apparently not. So, what I think I'm going to do is allow both killers to progress to the next round, as there was no actual winner, so we'll just pretend like they knocked each other out or something. So with all that in mind, that brings our battle to a close and means Myers and Ghostface will be facing each other off in the next video. Whenever that is, because I actually need to get those footage of those two. Hope you enjoyed, and bye bye.